Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. We're at March 6th, and it is a cold, blustery morning here. We had, I don't know, close to an inch of rain, and then it got colder as the night went along. We just got a skiff of snow on everything, and 2 days ago it was 73 degrees, and we had that for about 3 or 4 days. It was in the mid 60s, 70s, and then Mother Nature brought in a cold front. Anyway, the cows were in this one little piece here last night in that rainstorm, and they always find the best shelter they can, and they did right there. Had a mineral feeder there. I'm gonna try and get that out of there with the four-wheeler and put it in a new spot that's got better footing. But I was gonna show you, you know, when you make a mess like this, that's not bad, but trust me, I've seen a whole lot worse. But you know, they beat that up pretty good. And if you don't put up a back fence on something like this, they will be back here tonight, and they'll hit her again. And so it's not the first pugging that does the damage, it's the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So you allow cattle to come back to an area, and you know, they're going to find the warmest spot in that particular paddock. Well, we moved them up here. There's a cedar grove up here, and they can actually get down in those cedars now, and that's probably where they'll spend the night. But we put a wire around the sawmill shed. That's the Wood Miser, the LT40, and I'm so glad I got that under shelter. It's a nice area to saw. It's kind of hidden out of the way, and it doesn't get in the way of anything. But I was going to show you the worst pugging is right here on this corner. They went around this tree line. It makes a corner right here. I mean, they mudded it. And so we're going to take a wire and keep them from actually putting one more foot on that. They're not going to be allowed to do that. I was also going to show you our water skirt. We put in these rock ramps, and if anything would have gave them a test, it would have been last night. I mean, it rained and it rained and it rained. It rained hard, and we had just 267 in here because we took all the bulls out there on another farm. I was going to show you how well this rock ramp held up. I was surprised. Here's what I'm talking about right there. So we're not going to allow them in there no more. Not until we come back. And it's probably going to be May, June, somewhere in there. So we're going to run a wire from the edge of that palm, that blue post is there. I'm going to bring it up to where I'm standing right here. We'll go down along the edge of that pug marks, then back into the timber over there. So they can't touch that anymore. They got it chewed up pretty good, but it'll heal. Just got to get them off of it. We'll put some hay on it. Just scatter some loose hay on it. That'll really help. Yeah, you can see this ramp is unbelievable. If you just gave them this pond and let them walk down in there to get them a drink, you wouldn't have a pond. All you'd have is a mud hole. Well, I'm gonna fish. They're pretty good fish. It was a bass. And see, they can stand right here. They stick their head under that poly and drink, but they can't physically get out in the pond. And you can see that big rock, that's 6 inch. So the 6-inch rock is 2 foot deep from here all the way up to there. You can see where it quits. And this particular ramp is about around 18 feet wide. And then it's got, well, this one we put 1.5 inch clean. I usually use 2-inch clean rock, but we had a pile over here, so I just used it. And we used fiberglass rods, drove into the ground or into the pond, and that's electric tape. That's hot, so they can see it really well. Here comes one to drink. I'm gonna get out of here. Watch. Let's see how she does. It's a little, looks like a heifer coming. So we went ahead and permanently fenced off all the pond with a high tensile. That is 170,000 psi high tensile wire. She's ate a little hay and stockpile. She's thirsty. She's gonna come down and get her a drink. Said she was. She's kind of looking things over, isn't she? It's like, I don't know about that. So the rock pad is not as comfortable on their feet as mud, and so they're not going to hang around down there very long. That's pretty cool. She's got probably 6,000 to 7,000 volts in that poly tape above her neck there. And if they get kind of careless and touch that, they probably won't touch it again. Here comes a black cow. But what we're doing, we're trying to make it till spring flush now. We're probably 3.5 weeks. To be conservative, figure maybe April 7th, so we're maybe 30 days out. And so we're slowing them up, giving them little bitty areas. This morning, they got probably an acre up here. And we're feeding, we had about 60 or 70 bales left over from last year. So it's 2-year-old hay. That's what we're feeding them right now. And when we get up here to the far end of the farm, we'll walk them down the road to what we call Jan's farm. And we've got the same thing. We've got some stockpile that's been grazed, and we've got some hay. So we'll be giving them a little bit of this. But folks, we got a heck of a rain last night. Look at this ground. Where they're not tightened up, where they didn't make a corner like up there around those trees. This isn't tore up. And we can still unroll hay on it. And we gave them just a little piece of stockpile up here. So they get a little bit of stockpile, and on 200 and I think there's 263 head in here, they get 2 bales unrolled. Oh, that sun's coming out, thank goodness. Whew, that feels good. Some of the cows, their backs are still wet from the down last night. Oh yeah, you can see the cows spreading out up in front. So the fresh stockpile's up there, way up there. They're out on it. They've left the hay and they're going out and grazing it. One thing you got to be careful of, folks, when you're grazing one stockpile, is make sure you always have a wire in front of the paddock that you're grazing. I call that insurance fence. If you don't have that up, and the deer come through at night and knock that wire down, then they're on the whole farm. And that's a nightmare. You come out there in the morning, you got your whole herd spread across the whole farm, and they're just going everywhere. you just wasted a bunch of stockpile. You got to get them up and get them back in their paddock. And that's just because you didn't have a back fence up in front of them. I shouldn't say a back fence, a forward fence. So that's where that's at. But anyway, waiting for the sun to come up and get a little warm. My hands are cold. Put my gloves back on. Everyone have a good one, and hit that subscribe button on the way out, and we'll see you down the road.